This is a video about progress and recovery from persistent pain. It's different for every person. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it plateaus. It's ups and downs and ebbs and flows. So taking your time and noticing any internal pressures to compare yourself to anybody else on your recovery is really key. Often when you read about book recoveries, or you hear people who had one session and the pain turned off and then they came out of nowhere and they just got better, it can be very frustrating for people who intellectually understand the mechanisms and they feel that because they know the information, their body should automatically switch the pain off. If you think about the progress from retraining something that takes time to embody, then it's a process of repetition. Yes, of some conscious behaviours and conscious choices, but you're almost waiting until those conscious choices, decisions, movements, breathing patterns, emotional charges become embodied. And if you know that fireworks night is safe all of a sudden, doesn't mean you can put the collar on the dog and drag it out to the display and expect it to be happy with all the bells and whistles and lights and sparkles and bangs and shocks and surprises. It takes time for the nervous system, just like an animal, getting used to conditions and environments again that were scary, were seen as scary, and still have some inherent risk. But we all go out the door every day with risks of crossing the road, of meeting people we don't know, people we do know, challenges, and there'll be a kind of ebb and a flow of adrenaline and cortisol that comes with that, and serotonin and oxytocin, all these chemicals that come with people we like, we dislike, situations we like and dislike, some things we love and some things we really unpleasant. That's the normal ebb and flow of a day in a very reactive nervous system. The dog reacts before the owner. You know, your dog growls at the wind. Dog growls at a gate banging outside when there's no danger, but it's just on the lookout, and it's become a bit hyper vigilant through this process. And remember, it wasn't anybody's fault. So when you're looking at improvement and recovery from it, you have to nurture the nervous system like you're looking after a baby or a dog that has no conscious understanding. So you can't take your conscious understanding and think, well, I know how to do it, and then I'd be frustrated with myself. That's the signal you're feeding into the system. Talking to a person who's really pleased with the weight change they've had, describe it, I've lost weight. I'm not a big fan of lost something, because your brain will try and get something back when you think you've lost it, but he's happy with the progress he's made, and he's really happy with the progress he's made over the pain, but he's a bit frustrated for a week because it didn't change. Well, if you lost weight or you changed weight frequently and then you had a week off, it doesn't mean that all the work you've done's gone to the dogs. It just means the body there's a plateau for some reason. It's very similar with pain. You are aiming for consistency. There'll be maybe times when you feel like you're on with this, there'll be times when you're not, but if you look at all the situations in your life, nothing's constant, there's always change. There'll be somebody ring you with an emergency, there'll be somebody ring you with some great news, there'll be some times when nothing's happening specific, and the key is to be consistent and not controlled or knocked off or too excited with things that you might describe as these are really good or these are really bad. Defining them in that way actually primes the nervous system to look at situations that don't have good in and amplify that, or do have bad in and amplify that. So see it as a challenge that if you can put the pauses in yourself to reflect on how well you're doing, that can help you modulate any times you feel very excited. If you can accept times when the body just needs a breather to consolidate where it's at, then you're listening to the body without reacting to it. If you can no longer react to your own reactions, then you're not a victim to the nervous system's dictate of what it wants to do. If the dog barks at the postman and you shout at the dog, you might as well get on your hands and knees and start barking at the postman too. You have to be one step ahead. You have to have calming mechanisms in place. And of all the things that you might practice, if you have intellectual knowledge and you feel that you need a bit more, or you're frustrated with that, go to your breath. Get better at controlling your breath. 2 minutes of calm, controlled breathing. Just get control of that before you do anything else. That dictates to 50 trillion cells the state of the body. I can't do it, it's too hard, I don't like it, it doesn't work. That's your mind. Do 3 breaths. Get used to doing 3 slow breaths. Oh, I don't like it, it doesn't work, I haven't got time. Yes, you have. That's your mind telling you not to do it. It doesn't want you to park in a different space to the one you've parked in all this time. It doesn't care that familiar is unpleasant and painful. It thinks it's safe, and it's always been safe habitually long before this pain appeared, because the patterns of behaviour you had before the pain appeared, they were the things that kept you safe. You might have to let go of some of those behaviours. That's quite a challenge for some people, because they think it's the identity of who they have to be. It isn't. It was an identity that was needed at a time that was really, really challenging to survive it, come through it, be approved of it, or just find a route out of that situation. But you don't need that now. And changing that state takes practice. Yes, it can happen quick for people. It's amazing to observe when it does. But the process is available to every human being. Sometimes with some guidance and some support of a friend or a family member or a physio or a doctor or a nurse or a therapist. But the person who does the work is the person who does the work. So allow your progress to be natural. Follow it, pause with it, take the lead, push it on a little bit, pause when you need to, pause when you don't think you need to. And that's when you actually start to dictate the pace of your recovery, and it becomes effortless.